Hello and welcome. I'm Paragon G, and I have for you today a deli mirror. I'm particularly excited about this. I almost never see deli mirrors, especially not on dry Arabia, let alone something like Confluence or Danube River, or somewhere where you're more likely to see the deli Sultanate play. So let's get into this. Szalami, a favorite of mine, on the left side of the map, in the red, of course, playing as the deli. And already we can actually see these players' builds have diverged. They'll pop over now to kauP on the right-hand side of the map. Went with an early Mosque. You see he's now queued up some of those all-important research, such as efficient production. So we'll see if that converts into feudal age pressure or not. Let's see. So mill, early wheelbarrow, followed by survival techniques. No real surprises there. And one thing I'm trying to do recently is make sure I actually check the military counts, because sometimes players go for an extra scout when I don't notice it. So in this case, no, it does say military 2, but that is actually the scholar. They are considered a military unit, presumably because they can heal. And he got that free scholar with the mosque. So Szalami already on gold, on food, on wood. I'm curious about the early wood. I feel like I haven't been seeing early wood by players very often at all. In fact, both are going for it, and in this case, kauP actually has 3 on wood, so I'm guessing that's to make up for the mosque. No, so something's a little different here, considering that a deli gets 100 extra wood to build the mosque, so you shouldn't need too many on wood. Adding gold now. Okay, we'll keep an eye on what's going on. Nice bunch of sheep brought back here by kauP. On the other side, Szalami. Research is wheelbarrow. Presumably he will... I'm wondering, actually, he hasn't queued up survival techniques. Maybe that means he'll be going into professional scouts once he hits the feudal age or something like that. I am expecting... So we're on kauP's view right now. Let's go to Szalami here. Looks like he can almost click up. And yeah, there I was looking for the wood to see when that mosque is coming up. So it's coming up now. This generally tells me that he wants sanctity. Right, if he really wanted efficient production, he would have put that mosque up earlier. Now, that being said, efficient production doesn't take that long. So we'll check back in just a second to see how long it takes. Let's just do it while we're here, hanging out at the mosque. It takes 2 minutes for efficient production. So he does queue that up right away. Of course, you want your mosque to be active. But we'll see if he converts that toward... pauses that and moves to Sanctity. kauP's still not clicked up, so I'm a little... I've been wondering about this wood here and the 3 villagers on it. This seems like the kind of thing I would do, where I'd have way too many villagers on wood and then my feudal age would be delayed far longer than it needs to be. So I'm assuming this means there's some kind of plan. He can now go up, so Dome of the Faith as well. No surprises there. And another villager on wood. So this is looking to me like feudal pressure. He wants the wood to... What is he putting up here? That's just a house. He wants the wood to add production buildings. That's the only thing I can think of right now. Szalami almost up to the feudal age. Efficient production coming up to 2/3 complete there. 6 villagers, sorry, on wood. So this is also looking like we're going to see some serious production facilities pop up for Szalami as well, unless he's about to pull some off. But we will wait and see. Something I'm hoping to do more generally is take a closer look at the players' builds. I think I have the tendency to look at things like upgrades and try to figure out their overall plan, but actually noticing how many villagers are on each should provide some pretty important indicators as to what's going on. Look at this. Szalami immediately dropping a blacksmith. So this is what we'd call deli greed. So, of course, the blacksmith is related to the military, but not being a production building, it doesn't help you stay alive, and it doesn't help you put on pressure. So this is greed. He may even want... I'm curious if he's going to add another blacksmith. But presumably now he will queue up some upgrades. He wants to keep those going as much as possible. And what has he placed here? Okay, barracks. So, looks like Going to be working toward infantry, probably spearmen, to try to start grabbing the sacred sites. Let's take a look at his mosque, in fact. And we do see Sanctity underway now from Szalami. This is so interesting to me. I so rarely see mirror matches that I'm used to kind of focusing on the Delhi player and trying to figure out what they're up to. But in this case, there are two of those players to focus on. Outpost being fought over. So Szalami really wants to stop this outpost from going up. Is willing to lose a scout to do it. Basically, he needs the sacred site. Oh, look at this. 12 more HP until this thing is built. So I think it probably will be built. But that being said, that's amazing. Look at the wall being thrown down from Szalami. He is desperate to keep his opponent off of this outpost, right? So he is clearly, especially with that blacksmith, we know. And it's ranged attacks, so you've got to figure there's an archery range coming down very shortly. Okay, so villagers come out from kauP now as well to try to stop this wall. Szalami is going to sort of quick build this wall. One villager running around to frantically make as much of the wall as he can. This is so specific. But both players want the sacred site so badly, and kauP probably even more, considering that he's already invested in an outpost. Which, I mean, maybe can you get all the resources back when you cancel? I need to double check on that. It'd be pretty important to know. I think you can. And I think that's part of why people were frustrated with Mongols, is they would start building a tower, and then they would cancel it, and then you'd commit to one, and they just build one somewhere else for more cheaply as well. So Szalami pretty much has this walled off now. Now, that being said, kauP has moved to the south to build an outpost here, and it looks like he is trying to build an outpost in the north as well. But Szalami is headed up. Two spearmen will be throwing up walls probably as quickly as possible. He knows what kauP is up to at this point, right? So we may even see some micro to sort of tap all the walls and get them to partially build. kaup's villager coming up now, but he will be in for a nasty surprise. Spearmen do kill villagers. The scout has done good work here, almost taken out this outpost, more than half destroyed. Gate now from Szalami, so really safe that scholar can just pop in. Now let's take a look at kauP. So he has a stable, no scholar garrison, and has been pumping out scouts. So do we see professional scouts from him? We do. Professional scouts just finishing now. Szalami is now capturing this sacred site in the middle of the map. That'll be a really nice spike in gold for him. And let's take a look. I'm assuming Sanctity has been researched. Actually, Sanctity not even finished yet from kauP. That's interesting. 20 more seconds on that. Looks like this was begun, but Szalami's going to do his best to torch that down as well. And presumably he's okay to leave his opponent with this outpost at the bottom, right? You don't want to spread yourself too thin trying to prevent everything your opponent is doing. Szalami's in a pretty solid spot here. He already has a sacred site, so that gold is coming in now, and we'll see his gold start jumping up. Should be over 200 in just a second here. There it goes. Plus 66 gold every 20 seconds is not bad at all. This wall being completed. The gate coming up now as well. I think he often puts a gate on the front and back, so he can get in and out as he needs to. Really handy being able to, you're being chased, you pop through a gate, and all of a sudden you're safe, at least from melee units. Spearmen completing that wall now. kauP also building a wall on the side. A little less tight, but more just protecting the side Szalami is actually on. Look at this. Destroying the stealth forest. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, sir. Still only the one gate from Szalami. I think he's feeling pretty confident here. The way he's playing with that front gate makes me think he's ready to put on pressure. And he has the blacksmith melee armor now coming in from him as well. And he's now trying to pressure and prevent his opponent from taking all of the deer on the map. Let's take a quick look at the mini-map here. How many more deer are on it? I wasn't paying close attention to that setup. It looks like a lot of deer carcasses have been brought back for kauP. So really nice job for him successfully bringing so much food back to the safety of his town center. Outpost coming up for him by his... Can't click it. Cannot click it. By his wood line. Scouts running out and about again. I'm assuming they're going to head this direction. There's some deer here, some deer here. We'll see what he can pull off there. Szalami does at least scout this area. I think he's going to have to get out with his horseman. He's just going to take too much arrow fire and will go down. Looks like that horseman will go down. In fact, Szalami looks like he's just going to commit, though. He might just try to burn down this outpost. It does have arrow slits and 2 villagers inside of it, so this thing does do quite a bit of damage. And I actually hear Szalami can afford to go up to the Castle Age. So behind all of this, keeping in mind that he's had these sacred sites with tons of gold. Did he get a market by any chance? Oh, he did get that second blacksmith. The second Slecken blacksmith. So this is his this is greed, right? So this is he's trying to keep those double upgrades running as much as he can. Has clicked up to the Castle Age and is getting siege engineering. Now, kauP did reach the Castle Age, and I think I was just too focused on, well, everything else that was happening. He went up with the House of Learning, as is Szalami. So pretty mirrored approach from both players so far, at least in terms of overall plan. kauP, of course, with a ton of scouts. He has 10 running out in the map. Interesting he didn't pop a scout into here to take the sacred site back. I guess he's going to rely on a scholar. Seems a little odd to me. Then again, I guess if he goes in here, spearmen come in, he's trapped. So that could be awkward. In fact, spearmen are coming back now, so maybe that is just a good play, but I figured one scout wouldn't be such a big loss. kauP does find this, actually 2 scholars, manages to take out one of them. I didn't see the second one. It was so surrounded by enemy scouts. But spearmen now will chase them away, and looks like... Okay, so the scholar does look like he gets away. Okay, of course he's being chased by a wolf. He's grabbing the relic there. I have to keep an eye on the relic count when we get a chance to do so. These scouts just generally causing trouble. I don't think it really puts kauP in the driver's seat. I think Szalami is in a nice spot in terms of like where he wants to be. He still has 2 sacred sites. He's denied the sacred site over here from his opponent. So I wouldn't be surprised to see elephants or something. Where's he going to go with this? It's actually difficult to spend as much gold as he's getting. It's hard to spend 400 gold per minute when it's passive. Like, you're not planning on it. Looks like men-at-arms coming out from him. I shouldn't say you're not planning on it, but it jumps up quickly, especially early on. Now, we used a bunch of that to get to the Castle Age, but you can see now his resources are building up, so he is going to need to find a way to spend those efficiently. Does have a market, so he can purchase food as needed using his surplus of gold. Is there a scholar in here yet? No scholar just yet. Adding his own walls to here. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is his wall in the front. Let's pop over. Looks like the first elephant is actually out from kauP. Really wants to deny and then capture himself this sacred site, and continues to come back with deer carcasses. So I really like this play from kauP, and to be honest, I like this play from the developers. This is exactly what professional scouts should be, right? It should be something you commit to. Not everyone commits to. It's you could potentially be driven off of it, right? So it's still, there's counterplay to it. It is still a risk, but really making just good use of it. And it takes a lot longer, but he has had food under his town center for so much of this game. Adding the second relic to his mosque there. And how many relics? We see 3 here. So that's all the relics accounted for. Szalami with that advantage. So I did say 400 gold per minute. I should be saying 700 gold per minute passively from Szalami right now. kauP does take this out, but again, doesn't put a single unit in here to just take this back. Let's see if a scout pops over and does so. Looks like he's going to do that. Exactly that. Right now, the elephant's battering down more of the wall, probably just so they can get in and get out a little more easily. Scholar now moving in, so he really wants to capture that. Look at that. Never really noticed the little floaty star above the Scholar there. The light of wisdom. Oh man, look at these walls. Yeah, so Szalami completely walled in this sacred site. And of course, kauP with elephants now, you know, it's not too hard to get through these palisade walls. So Szalami with a harder time getting food. You can see he's had to move out to the berry bushes. I still feel like he's in an okay position here. He does have to worry about these elephants, but we can now see men-at-arms going to be chasing away this war elephant. Looks like kauP will get the sacred site. So this war elephant is almost certainly going down, unless he has a way to relieve it. Spearmen take these down so quickly. It actually looks like maybe if he can just keep running away, it'll be slow enough to get away. And you can see the guy on top even getting some pokes in there. So the Tower War Elephant behind will actually do some pretty good damage here. You can get the tusks of the elephant in there, but does need to get away. Look how fast this thing goes down. This is a bit of a mistake, I think, here. And now you can see Tower War. Look at the turn of pace that thing picked up. But the Tower War Elephants are expensive. They're 600 gold, 400 food, and they do not have much melee armor. So definitely, you want to keep them safe. You want to keep them kiting. You could kite spearmen probably for quite a while. Yes, they don't have melee armor, but they do take out spearmen pretty quickly. Szalami with a lot of resources. It makes me wonder if he wants to head toward Imperial Age, or if he's just sort of unable to spend what he has here. More wall coming up, so wants to keep this a little safer, but keep in mind there's elephants roaming. Now, they are slow. They are very slow units, but they have busted into here, and kauP has now just taken the southern sacred site, so that'll be a nice amount of gold for him. Szalami rebuilding the wall in the middle, and I'm sure there's a scholar headed over again. It's all about these sacred sites for Delhi players. This is a, you know, okay, I think this is a mistake from kauP. I think this positioning is potentially even a bit of a throw. And the reason I say that, first of all, holy moly. Hold the phone. Szalami has 3 relics out and about with his Trackstar Scholars. He wants Wololos. And here's the thing. Look how out of position these units are. This is like having a bishop in the corner of your chessboard. You don't want it. It limits their movement. It's not something that helps you. He may have to build a gate here really quickly. There's even Wololos coming. So Szalami has identified this. And he smells blood. He is jumping on this army. Triple Wololo. Oh, and takes a Tower War Elephant. If I'm not mistaken, this Tower War Elephant did belong to kauP. I really want to confirm that now. But those Wololos even just forcing his opponent out of the way. This is such a big jump. Oh, Szalami needs to get these troops in there. The War Elephants do so much damage, and you need to have your full force committed to them. What else is happening here? Szalami is moving forward over here. Elephants, infantry, they may find these villagers. This could be a rough spot for kauP, but surprisingly, his army actually held its own, and I think a big part of that is because Szalami didn't have the troops all engaged in the combat. Elephant goes down there from Szalami. I think he might be okay with this outcome because he's now putting pressure on these villagers. And if we take a quick look at the villager counts, it's 60 for Szalami and 49 for kauP. So really solid play here from Szalami. I think he doesn't care. He's got the pressure on. He has kauP where he wants him. I think, again, whether or not this battle went well, this positioning was a mistake from kauP. You want your elephants. They're so slow. You don't want them getting jumped on. You want them to have retreat avenues, and you want them to be able to get to where they need to go. And so all of that suggests you want your elephants either near your base or in the middle of the map. Of course, if they're in your opponent's base, that's not so bad as well. Let's take another look here. Szalami 62, 42 for kauP. 20 villager lead now for Szalami. This is looking very bad for kauP. That being said, he did win some military battles, So we'll see if he is able to take any momentum he gained from here and push to the other side of the map and make something happen. Taking out some scholars of Szalamis. Lots of crossbows coming in. Now, crossbows do not do bonus damage to tower war. I think either war elephant. As far as I know, they are not actually considered heavy units. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, so Lancer says heavy melee cavalry. And elephants do not say the word heavy. So crossbows, yes, are useful, but they're not quite as useful as you might expect them to be. This knight running in. Little overzealous, perhaps. Looks like Szalami is okay here. He is stabilizing. He takes out both of those elephants. His own elephant still has most of its hit points left. He has 2 of the 3 sacred sites. The other does belong to his opponent. Used up these berries, but this will still be useful for him, right? Keep in mind he can put farms here later. No problems there. Take a quick look at his base before we jump to the front and the action happening here. Szalami, small overextension, but it's possible he took out a couple villagers. I don't think this was too successful by him. Okay, looks like Szalami has now come to this southern sacred site. Really wants all 3 of these. Wants to force the issue. Of course, it's pretty difficult to actually get a sacred site victory this way, but it does force your opponent's hand, and simply put, it is a ton of income. Look at the military moving across. Szalami hasn't been super good about spending his resources. Still quite a bit of food in the bank. There's gold in the bank, but actually kauP, 2,600 gold in the bank right now. Definitely needs to find a way to spend that gold. Needs a market, if nothing else. Does have a market. Makes me wonder what his plan is on that front. I wonder if he feels like the game is lost here. We can take a look at his point of view, and I think he cannot see much. He knows his opponent has sacred sites, but he's pretty much stuck in his base. He does have a few lancers on a nice little raid here. Szalami only sending 1 knight to relieve his villagers. Villagers actually already coming back out. 1 crossbow. The spears will do it, though. 2 knights go down. The other one will be driven away. And kauP doing what he can to even the score here in terms of the villager count. 51 villagers to 68. So definitely, only 17 behind instead of 20. Still not a good spot for kauP at all. Nice contingent of men-at-arms here. Looks like they have the melee armor upgrade. One thing I'm really looking forward to is already apparent in the ranked seasons preview is they actually have the +1, +2, whatever the upgrades will indicate. So it's very clear it's very easy to identify what upgrades you or an opponent has by clicking on the unit and taking a quick look. You don't have to remember what their base armor and attack is. You just take a look. Szalami busting in with elephants now. This tower is not long for this world. Does have arrow slits. Added investment there from kauP. kauP will run out. Men-at-arms coming out, doing what they can. Mangonel here, but looks like elephants, they do manage to finish it off. The attacks from the archers on top of these war elephants are no joke. They do quite a bit of damage, and it's enough to get past siege. Now, these elephants will go down if they're totally surrounded. Keep in mind that they do not have very high melee armor at all. There's only 2 melee armor on this thing. So men-at-arms are a sufficient way to take out war elephants, and kauP doing a great job of really cleaning up this assault here from Szalami, but looks like Szalami's also in the south. Just 1 knight, though, and it almost goes down. Szalami still has all 3 sacred sites, and his gold is absolutely banging right now. Almost 2,400. Between that and his relics, should be 900 passive gold per minute. Szalami's still trying to cause trouble here, but there's enough men-at-arms and crossbows that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But the question really is, at this point, is kauP just too far behind? It looks to me like he's going to push out with this, and if he can't do damage, I think the game's over. I think the villager lead is mounting Szalami can probably... Actually, it looks like he just spent a whole bunch of his resources. So are we going to see a whole bunch of elephants coming out or something like that? Oh, look at this. Let's take a moment. Respect the elephant horde. So kiting temporarily. Men-at-Arms coming in from kauP. I think Szalami has it. Yeah, here it goes. kauP just calls it. Szalami has the game. Doesn't even finish up the battle here. The simple fact that look at all these crossbows here, plus the elephants, plus men-at-arms as meat shields, and there's really no way that kauP wins this game, particularly with his deficit of villagers. Folks, if you enjoyed this one, this has been Paragon RG. Follow me on YouTube, watch on Twitch, and I'll catch you next time.